Hey, Ari from the Tech Buyers Guru, and I'm here with an exclusive review and installation video for the new Leviton Decora Smart Voice Dimmer with Amazon Alexa built in, also known as model DWVAA. Leviton, being an old-fashioned hardware manufacturer, really hasn't caught on to catchy model names, so rather than call it the DWVAA, I'm just going to call it the Voice Dimmer. So we're going to take a look at what's inside the box, and then we're going to go ahead and install it in the wall and see how it works out. One thing I do want to point out right from the start before everybody asks this question is, yes, it needs a neutral wire, and yes, just about every smart switch on the market needs a neutral wire. So if you don't have that white neutral wire in your gang box, you're going to need to call an electrician and get one installed. Okay, let's crack open the box and check out what we get inside. All right, taking a look at the box, we see some important information on the front and side and back in case you want to learn more about the product, and then I try to open it and the box breaks. This must be to help you know whether or not someone has tampered with the product ahead of time, but frankly, it just looks cheap to me. They did not do a particularly good job constructing this box. Now let's pull out these guides. Let's see what they have in here. It looks like, okay, getting started guide, and then you also have a Spanish version of the same guide, I assume. So it's nice that they have both there. And then let's pull out the box. The interior box, and I see they have this kind of flap design, which I guess is supposed to look nice, but it doesn't even line up. You know, they're trying to kind of be like Apple here and failing. Oh, Leviton, I know you've been around 100 years, but you still haven't figured out how to package a product. Okay, at least you do put plastic on your wall plate, so that's nice. That keeps it from scratching when it's in the box. Then we've got some wire nuts, 5 to be exact, so I assume we'll be using a bunch of wire nuts in this installation. Let's take a look at the dimmer itself. There you go. We've got a bundle of wires in the back. Let me get those out to show you what we have. And this is always important so you know what you're dealing with. We do have a ground wire. We have that white neutral. Like I said, that's not an optional wire. You're going to need a neutral in your gang box. The only one that's actually optional here is this yellow one. This is for a 3-way switch. You don't need that for a standard installation. Then we have the red and black. Now, this is the dimmer I'm replacing. This is actually also a Leviton dimmer, and of course I've turned off the power at the breaker, but I'm going to check it with my voltage tester here, confirming that there is no power to the circuit. Okay, you should do that as well. I use a Klein Tools device there for my voltage testing. Now I can safely remove the wires from the existing Leviton dimmer and get this dimmer free, and then take a look inside that gang box to make sure I have all the wires I need for my connections. Now I've marked that wire with a red piece of tape because I know that's my load, and here's my black line. So you will probably want to take a look at your existing dimmer or switch so you know which one is your load and line. They're not always red and black, unfortunately. And then way in the back, jammed behind there, I kind of have to reach back there and get it, is the neutral. It's all in a bundle back there with a big wire nut. I've removed it here, and I'm going to check my voltage again just to make sure, because I am handling these wires with my bare hands. So there you go. There's your neutral. It's bundled all together, and this is something you're going to need to look for in your gang box. It's probably going to be in the back because most dimmers don't need that, of course. So I'm going to tie in to there, and then I'll tie in my ground. I will tie in my line and then my red load. Remember, I did already identify that as my load wire there. And I won't be using the yellow, as I mentioned. That's for a 3-way installation. So let's go ahead. Before we get in, I'm actually just going to show you. I have to do a little size test here because I want to make sure this is going to fit in my gang box. And it actually looks like it's exactly the same size as my existing dimmer. I should note that both of these are much larger than a standard switch. So if you have just an old switch and you have an older house, your gang box may not be big enough for these big boxes. Notice also that while my old dimmer used direct connect wires, now I have this whole bundle of wires. That's going to take more space inside the gang box as well. So you are going to need a sufficient amount of space in that gang box to fit this dimmer. It will take up a good amount of space. There's my 5 wire nuts. I'll only use 4 of those because I do have this white one right here that's already in the gang box. So let's go ahead and start the installation. I will start with the neutral. I'm going to unwind these and then connect the neutral here. If you haven't worked in a gang box before with wires, basically what you just do is kind of twist these
these wires together, kind of like a twist tie, and then use that wire nut to secure it and give it a tug to make sure it's not going to come loose. And here I have the ground wires, that bare copper ground wire. It goes to green, and then I will do the red to the load line in my box. Again, you'll need to look at your existing installation to figure out which one is load and line if you don't have something that's clearly marked as red and black. Here you can see I basically had 2 black wires, and that's pretty common. And then I've got everything but my line here. That would be the one that has power to it if you didn't cut your breaker. So make sure you do. You don't want to handle that black wire with your bare hands if you have any current there. So I'm just going to tuck away this 3-way switch line. It's not a live wire, so I'm not concerned about it really needing a wire nut. The biggest thing here is getting those neutrals back. That's a big bundle of wires I got to jam back in there. Then I'll jam my ground wire in there, and then the rest of the wires as well. And you do have to be a little bit careful when you're doing this to make sure those wire nuts don't pop off, and then you lose your connection. And the worst thing is, of course, you could cause a short, but also you'll install everything and not know you've lost a connection. So I want to make sure that I have this the right side up, okay, because you want your up button to be on rather than off. So let me just jam this in here. Using the screwdriver will help you get those wires in place. And now I just checked that my wall plate will fit. I've got enough clearance, and I see that I actually have to use a screwdriver to pop the 2 parts apart, the 2 sides of that panel, the wall plate. This one screws on to the dimmer itself, and then this one, there is a top and bottom of this. You have to make sure you get it correct, otherwise it probably won't go on right. So I'll slide it on from the top and then secure it, snap it on into place, and it's nice and secure. It looks good. So now I have my dimmer working. See, I've actually turned my lights on and off, and it's got a nice slow fade out. That's pretty cool. There's my Alexa button. It's not doing much right now because it doesn't have a connection. So obviously I have to make that connection for it. So I think I'm going to need some software. Let's go ahead with that right now. So what you'll be using is the My Leviton app. I've already installed it, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. I do have to create an account. I do not have any other Leviton smart devices, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to sign up, just like you'll need to. And then it's created a residence for me, and I'm going to get my location using the GPS. You do need your GPS on here. I've done that, and I'm going to add the device. So this should be pretty easy, and oh, there it is, voice dimmer. So that made it simple because it referred to it by the product's name. Go over these Wi-Fi requirements. You do need Bluetooth enabled on your phone as well. So obviously you're going to be using Bluetooth. There is that Bluetooth symbol, so that means it's actually using Bluetooth to connect to that dimmer. By the way, that does of course mean you need to be relatively close to the dimmer when you're doing this. Let's see, and now there's my home Wi-Fi network. And I'm going to punch in my code to my password. And let's see if it connects to my Wi-Fi. So right now it's trying to get the switch to directly connect to my Wi-Fi, and it did. Now, of course, you do need to log in with Amazon. It's kind of funny they call it Amazon. It's really actually the Alexa app. But this is allowing the device to hook into the Alexa voice service.
Your Alexa device is ready.
Great. Okay. So there's some information about the Leviton software. I'll just show you the basic functionality of the software. I don't think it's a huge selling point. I don't think you're going to be using your phone often to turn this light on and off, but I'm just showing you how it works. Alexa, turn off bathroom.
Okay.
Alexa, bathroom at 100%.
Okay.
So most likely you're actually going to use those voice controls that I just demonstrated, but I do want to see if there's any more functionality I can get out of the Alexa app itself. I'm trying to create a bathroom group here. There's my bathroom light, but I don't have a bathroom echo device. So, okay, let's see how this works. Alexa, turn off bathroom.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on the lights.
A few things share the name lights. Which one did you want?
Ultimately, it looks like it's only going to respond to the name of the light itself. That's a little bit of a drawback. Alexa, give me my news brief.
Ari, here's what's new. In NP NPR News.
So listening to the news is something I could see myself doing a lot with a bathroom device like we have here. Alexa, what's the weather?
Right now in Portland, it's 53 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly cloudy skies. Today's forecast has showers.
Now, before I give you my conclusions, I want to show you an important setting in the Leviton app. So again, this is the Leviton app, not the Alexa app, and this is where I set what the brightness is that the dimmer returns to when you press the physical button. So take a look here. I'm going to press this button and I get up to 50%. Now what's a little counterintuitive is I can't press it again to get up any higher. It's locked out because I set that in the software. So you may want to set it as return to previous brightness. Otherwise you'll need to use your voice every time to get it brighter than the predetermined brightness. There is no physical switch on the dimmer to adjust that dimming. So now that I've finished the installation and demo, I thought I'd share my final thoughts on the device. At $100, I think the Leviton voice dimmer is a little bit expensive. It combines the functionality of a smart switch, which typically costs $40, and an Amazon Echo Dot, which typically costs $50, and the total price comes in a little bit above those two. And because it has limited functionality as a physical dimmer without any dimming switches, and because the Amazon Echo portion of it can't actually be linked to lights as a group, it doesn't give you the full functionality. It's just not the full package. So I would say that the best application for this device is in a bathroom like this where you wouldn't otherwise have an Echo Dot sitting on your countertop. But everywhere else, I just go ahead and get that Echo Dot and then use whatever your favorite brand of light or switch is and get the full functionality of both. As always, I'm Ari from the Tech Buyers Guru. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.